Hey, Rick here from Bike Fitness Coaching again. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to compare two bike fitting education courses, International Bike Fitting Institute, IBFI, with Bike Fitness Coaching, BFC. We're just going to talk a little bit about similarities, differences, how they came about, a little history. So stay tuned. Here we go. Purpose of the presentation, really the issue is that I am asked by not only the students that want to take a bike fitting course, but also clients that come in for a bike fitting. They want to know what level of expertise that the bike fitter has. So to answer the question, how is your bike fitness coaching education program different from that offered by the IBFI? IBFI is becoming more and more well known in the industry, as well as bike fitness coaching. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the differences in the curriculum of these two programs and delve into a little brief history of each one. History of bike fitness coaching was formed as a result of my interest and passion for bike fitting, bike riding, racing, etc. Our curriculum is based on information that we've gathered from not only college coursework in anatomy, kinesiology, biomechanics, but also from numerous cycling-related conversations with orthopedic surgeons, physical therapists, etc. Wanting to know more and more in depth as to how the body interacts with the bicycle so we can give the customer a safe, pain-free experience on the bicycle. Our goal is to provide bike fitting training that is comprehensive and includes training that enables bike fitters to consider both the cyclist and the bicycle when working with bike fit clients. What we mean about that is that a lot of customers will come in with the wrong size bike frame. They might need a medium and they ended up buying a large or an extra large or an extra small. So we work with them to get to the best we can in that situation. We also advise a lot on new customers to cycling, getting the right size bike. We do a lot of bike sizing here as well. Some new customer that goes into a bike shop is going to spend $9,000, $10,000 on a bicycle. You want to make sure that it's really the right size for them. The second part is if we do the bike sizing, we can at the same time do a bike fitting on the size cycle. And when they order the bike, they can have the mechanic put the bike into the right shape and size and angles and setback and locations of the touch points for the client. We can also advise on what length stems, what length cranks, so when they get the bicycle from the bike shop, they know it's right. We've also been accredited by the CPTA, which is the California Physical Therapy Association, and the American Physical Therapy Association, to award CEUs, continuing education units, to physical therapists. So our course has been through a review process of the CPTA, APTA, and yeah, they say it's a solid course that they recommend for PTs to take. History of the International Bike Fitting Institute. It was formed by Andrew Brook, who put in a board of directors, elected a board of directors to oversee the curriculum and advise on study materials and how to put the course together. Initially, the IBFI was a set of fitters in a database with certain levels of expertise. You were level 1, 2, 3, or 4 fitter. And now more recently, they've gotten into the education, teaching, testing, and certifying to make sure that the customer that goes to an IBFI related or IBFI accredited bike fitter, that they're going to get that level of consistent fitting by a level 2 or level 3 or level 4. It's really a solid program that they've put together. Cooperative efforts between us. Although while functioning independently, we are two independent organizations, there's also some ongoing collaborative efforts. For example, I am putting together my version of their curriculum for level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you'll see this here shortly in the presentation. Early on in the development of bike fitness coaching curriculum, again, the curriculum I put together, I completed the IBFI program, fitter program, and was certified as a level 4 fitter. The bike fitness coaching created a bike fitting course that was certified by the IBFI, which was the second step in our evolution. IBFI students who successfully complete my course currently are awarded 80 CEUs. And why I'm saying that right now, the way the IBFI works, if you want to be a fitter, there is a certain spreadsheet program you put together, or you put data into that they put together. You add your level of education, any college degrees, any papers that you've published, how many bike fits you've done, a whole bunch of questions, and part of that is how much bike fitting education have you taken. And currently, before the program, which is their program, is about ready to launch. This is July 2023. Currently, you can get 80 units of credit toward your next level of fitter certification. IBFI also, how it differs, they are working on UK university certification for the IBFI training program. So UK versus USA, the education systems work a little bit differently in that in UK university, you can apply for credits, university credits for the IBFI training program. Bike fitness coaching recently contributed training courses to the IBFI for all levels of IBFI training, which bike fitness coaching will be teaching. So I've already created the courses for the online and the in-house level 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and we're just waiting for the final touches on their website to be able to go live with that. So here's the first chart of how these two really relate with each other. If you look at the IBFI is in blue, bike fitness coaching in orange, and kind of the experience level over here in green. To become a level 1 IBFI fitter, you need certain levels of, or certain expertise and experience that they're still kind of working on, determining. But in the meantime, you have to have 24 hours of online level 1 training plus 24 hours or 3 days of 8 hours of in-person. So with that, 48 hours goes toward level 1. The same for level 2. So once you become level 1 and have a certain number of fits, you can apply for level 2, and then level 3, and then level 4. Basically, the online is going to take about 96 hours to complete, and the in-person is about 96 hours. We have a day 0 that I've put together based on what the physical therapists and the bike shop employees, let's call it, which would include the bike shop owners, the mechanics, the salespeople. There are 2 complete different levels of experience. So I've put a pre-training course together that once you sign up for the bike fitness coaching course, you get a workbook. And it's going to take at least 8 hours, minimum of 8 hours. Some people are spending 16 hours going through it in great detail. When you come out of this, everybody will be at the same level of expertise when day 1, which is the first day of the course, really starts. After day 1, you have almost enough information and experience to be an intermediate level fitter. Day 2 builds on that, day 3 builds on that, and I would consider that would be an intermediate plus plus. Can you ever be an expert at this? Well, there's always something to learn. So I think in my opinion, the best people can be is an intermediate plus plus. You can never be perfect at everything because if it's a bicycle, you have to know how the body interacts with the bicycle. So the PTs bring some level of expertise to the courses as well as the bike shop people. So you'd have to be an expert at both of those and be a biomechanist and a kinesiologist, etc., to really become an expert. So I consider this the top level of where a bike fitter would be. The IBFI curriculum, here's the 4 levels. This would be the online component here. And the in-person component is really a practical application of the above. And this gets into more of the introductory fitting. Now we started getting into a little bit of the bike fitting itself, a little more detailed. And when you get to level 4, this is really more for reviewing scientific literature. This is if you want to become a bike fitting educator. That's where this really helps out. Can you become a great bike fitter at level 3? Of course you can. This is where I think most people will end their journey. With this, you get probably 98% of what you need to be a bike fitter, and the last 2% here, because again, this is more for a bike fitting educator. Here's our day 0. We go through a workbook that discusses all of these things. Tools, I got a lot of requests from PTs that take the course. What is a minimum set of tools I need to get started in bike fitting? So I put that in this course with a mandatory, you must-haves, and nice-to-haves. Eventually, once you become a certain level of expertise and you kind of know how the business kind of operates, then you can start getting the nice-to-have tools. What types of trainers and machines, trainers versus machines, let's call it. So this would be somebody on their own bicycle, and this would be one of the bike fitting machines. We talk about sizing and fitting, types of fits, a little bit of anatomy, and most importantly, we talk about software quite extensively in the workbook. What software do you need to evaluate the customer? Based on PC-based, Android-based, and Apple-based. And then how to use the software. Lots of exercises for using the software. So when we come to day 1, you are up and ready. Everybody is at the same level of expertise, and we're going right into fitting, understanding how to use the software, how to take angle measurements, etc. So this level 1 basically talks about the evals, assessments, how to do those, bike sizing, and cleats in the shoes. We then get into exercises, class exercises, as well as give a lot of homework where you deconstruct some cleats. We definitely get into speed play, we get into Look, Shimano, SPDs, all different kinds of systems. And what they are expected to do on the homework is we practice in class, and then they take the cleats back apart and reassemble them for either themselves and or some fitter that they've brought in to as a fit client, a friend that comes in where they can do some homework on them. You'll notice that ours is Zoom based. We don't have an in-house component, and the reason is that every physical therapist that has taken the course has told me, I'm glad you have the Zoom because I can't afford to take a day off for travel, a 3-day in-house course, and then a day back for travel. That's 5 days off. I have patients I have to work with, and I can't afford to take a week off. So we are able to we fine-tune this over the last 5-6 years, and we're doing as well as good. We're able to do everything that a regular in-house curriculum course can do. Day 2 gets a little more detailed and gets into anatomy, kinesiology, some biomechanics. We spend a lot of time in how to determine the correct crank length. We get into saddles, saddle adjustments, the class exercises for these, and then homework. We do discuss the homework. So what happens is in this day, when they do the cleats, again, we have them take the cleats completely apart and evaluate. Everybody evaluates everybody else. Every student evaluates every other student for the homework, and we go through, and so everybody understands everything there is to know about this up in this area. So we spend time here. Their homework is then to go do a fit on themselves or their better half or some friends over the course of the night after the class is done. Day 3, we get into and discuss that. Then they deconstruct that again, and every of the other students will evaluate or go through, say, okay, this is where your angle is, this is where you need to put the saddle, let's look at the crank length, look at this, move the saddle up, down, back, forth. So when we get to this point, they are actually doing a fitting over Zoom on the person, the student number 1, let's say. Do some more exercises. Then we get into cockpit. We get into road, gravel, mountain bike, cockpit setups, more exercises. We get into a little bit about the business info. When we get to this point in time, the most common question is, well, gee, now that I know all about this stuff, what do I charge? What are other fitters charging for their fitting business? So we get into that a little bit about what type of fitting that they do, more class exercises, and then we have a big exercise at the end, bringing it all together, where we start all over again at the cleats, and then do the saddle, the crank length, the handlebar, cockpit adjustments. And once they graduate, they do get a certificate. The certificate you can apply to IBFI currently for 80 units, or you can apply to your state chapter of the Europe Physical Therapy Association's state chapter with 2.4 units of CEUs for the PTs. And I also send in the sign-up sheet that proves to them that you were in the course. So PTs are getting 2.4 units of CEUs, which is almost a full entire year's worth of CEUs. Summary. I've written courseware for both IBFI and Bike Fitness Coaching, so I know both courses in detail. Bike Fitness Coaching is currently on Zoom only, again per PT's requests. And this works very well. The way we handle and process the Zoom, the way we use Zoom, it works very well in doing bike fitting. Most people have a camera, they have a spare iPad or a phone, so this works. We've not had one snag, one hang up on Zoom. IBFI, the difference both online and in-house is required. Both teach back to the basics fitting. This is important. Some of the other courses I've seen are basically, how to run the machine, where both of our courses are back to the basics. Go back to the cleats. Why are we adjusting the cleats this way? What does it do to the foot? How do you set the foot? Any special issues with people's feet? People that might have longer feet, shorter feet, wider feet, narrower feet. So everything's back to the basics. Deconstruct. What does a certain knee angle mean? Are they too high? Are they too low? So when you come out of it, you'll understand. You can use the machines later on, but at least with these two courses, you will understand what all the numbers actually mean. Both are process driven. I'm a process guy, and in my 30 years in the industry, aerospace industry, you're never going to get lost if you follow a process. So I put together our bike fitting course is a process driven course. Both are solid and excellent programs where you will learn fitting. And both, in my opinion, are best choices for bike fitting education. So the difference is it depends on what type of certification you require. If you're a PT, you can take IBFI's course, but you're not going to get any CEUs for the course. I recommend taking my course and then going back and taking the IBFI. You'll be at a certain level of IBFI, and you can continue your education or fine-tune it from that point on if you wish. Here are the quick links for the two sites I've been referencing. And with that, if anybody has any questions, please leave them in the comment section and we'll definitely get to them. And we'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.